All right, my friends, today we are going to start a lesson where we are drawing and then painting fairy tale castles. Start with a nice long line along the bottom of your paper. All of these castles begin with that line on the bottom. If you want to make a really tall castle, you should put your paper vertically. If you want yours to be a longer castle, then you would put your paper horizontal. So choose what you want yours to look like and make your paper aim in that direction. So I'm making the line across the bottom. My castle is going to be a wide one. Now I'm making a line that goes up on either side. I'm going to connect that, and then I'll make a line that has some bumps in it. This is the top of the castle. There are different choices. It's actually called a battlement, and you'll see it on your worksheet. There are different choices for the type of line you use on your battlement. Now I'm going to make towers on either side. I'm going to start on one side of my paper, and I can switch colors whenever I feel like it. There, you can see it. It's almost like a cylinder with a triangular prism or a cone on top. Another tower, and maybe I'll make one go behind that at some point. And this one I think I want to have a triangle top rather than that bumpy line. Now I'm going to go to the other side of my castle, and I think I want mine to be symmetrical or the same on both sides. You can make yours symmetrical, or you can choose to have yours asymmetrical. It's really up to you. There's no right way to do this. So again, I'm kind of making a cylinder here, and then that bumpy line on top. And now I have the basic shape of my castle. Now I want to go in and add details. If you look through your worksheet, there are a ton of different detail choices. You can add flags on top of your towers. Just squeeze that one on a little. You can make a drawbridge entrance. Switching colors whenever I feel like it. I think I'm going to make two big flags that hang from either side of the drawbridge. You could put the first letter of your name on these flags to symbolize it being your castle. I think I'm going to make lines here so it looks like slats on a drawbridge. Now I'm going to make windows. I want mine to almost be semicircles or semi-ovals. So I'm making like an upside down U and then connecting the bottom. So upside down U, connect. And if I ever am at a loss for ideas, you can just flip through that worksheet and get ideas. I think I'll turn this tower into a clock. Maybe I'll make this window a little different in shape. And I think I need one more window here. I'm going to be doing a watercolor resist, which just means I'm going to paint with watercolors over top of these pastels. Make sure you push pretty hard with the pastel as you're drawing. It'll work a lot better when you end up painting. I think I need a few extra windows here. And I'll do a texture for the roof. These kind of look like the tiles, the slate tiles you would see on a roof. And now I'm ready for paint. So when I use watercolor paint, I have to start by waking up my paint. I add water to the paint to wake it up. You stir the water in the color of your choice and then paint. Whenever you switch colors, you want to rinse your brush. You never, ever, ever mix the colors in the set. I'm also only painting every area one time. I don't want to paint the same spot over and over and over. When I'm painting, I'm remembering that my paintbrush is like a ballerina. It dances on its tiptoes. It never ever scoots around on its bottom because nobody wants to go to the booty scooting ballet. So, tippy toes with your paintbrush, delicately painting your paper. You don't need to avoid the pastel. You can just go right over top of it. And oil pastel and water don't mix. They're not friends. They don't like each other. So when they get near each other, they try to scoot away from each other. So you can see that my oil pastel still shows even when I paint over it. You want to fill all the areas of your castle. We will use a different technique for the background, the area behind our castles. You'll notice that every now and then my paintbrush starts to get a little bit scratchy on the paper. That's my paintbrush telling me that it's thirsty. It needs water. So when your paintbrush tells you that it's thirsty, listen. Add more water. It should never be difficult to get the paint to spread onto your page. It should go on really, really smoothly. It shouldn't feel gunky or sticky or scratchy. So again, I'm painting every area one time, not going over the same spot repeatedly. You can see right there when I painted that window, my colors bled together a little bit. In watercolor paint, sometimes when you paint right next to another painted area, the colors will bleed together. That just kind of means that they fade into one another, and that's not a problem. For the background, we're going to use splatter painting. I want to add quite a bit of water. I want to only splatter the paint around the castle. If I can stay off the castle, that would be better. So you can see I'm wetting my brush and I'm lining it up somewhere where there's white on my paper around my castle. And I'm just tapping it with my other hand. I might accidentally get a little bit on the castle itself, but I'm trying to avoid that if possible. If you get too many colors on this, your paper winds up just looking muddy and brown, so try really hard to stay off the castle if you can. Again, with splatter painting, we don't want it to wind up muddy or yucky, so do 2 colors, not every color in your palette. I think I'm gonna do purple and a little bit of this reddish pink color. I'm not using the whole rainbow around my castle. And you can see in a couple spots I did get on the castle because it's almost impossible to avoid it. But for the most part, I stayed off. I have a beautiful castle and a lot of cool colors splattered around it.